Hello and Happy New Year. You're very welcome to the Effective Living Series 2024 right here on City FM and City TV. My name is Apioko and I am your hostess. Now, every year we've been embarking on this effective living journey, and it's very important. Why? Because once you've come out of a previous year, you've done all the trials, you've done all the triumphs, you need something to hold on to get you through the next 12 months. This series is sponsored by Enterprise Life, and we're very happy to have them on board.
Whether it's 1924, 2024, or 2124, we've always known that you are driven by your sense of safety and well-being. It is what drives us to see you through from start to finish, from small to big. And in the last 100 years, as you have evolved, so have we also expanded to serve you in many ways. From cradle to grave, with expertise in insurance, life, pensions, properties, health, and for those beautiful memorable goodbyes. It's 2024, and in all our markets, our pedigree is recognized, our strength respected, our expertise valued, and our solutions sought by all who desire an advantage in life. Experience the time-tested and truly trusted 100 years legacy of Ghana's oldest insurer. Take charge of your future now. Insurance, life, pensions, property management, funeral services, health insurance. Enterprise, your advantage.
This week, we're looking at building resilient foundations. Building resilient foundations. You as an individual, you as a personal person for yourself. How can you build resilient foundations? And in the very first topic for the year, this year's 2024 edition of the Effective Living Series, we have the topic building personal resilience and mental toughness. Take that down. Building personal resilience and mental toughness. And there's no man I could dream of better than the one I'm about to introduce to take this topic. He understands it. He's taught it to many people, coached many people to build themselves, to build that resilience that's necessary to do the best that everyone needs to do and to be the best that you can personally be. And so it is my pleasure to introduce friend, brother, Mr. Mike Ohiniefa. He's the co-founder of Lead Afrique International, and he's an international development consultant. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing? I said when I start introducing you, start laughing. But it's true. I mean, you Lead Afrique, and of course you've not been doing this just for adults.
Yeah.
I've seen you and Letitia and the team at Lead Afrique groom young people as young as 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, 4 years old, and the things that they're doing, the way they think, it's admirable.
That's right.
And so you are the best person for this. You are.
Well, thanks for the compliment.
And Happy New Year.
Many, many, many happy returns. May this year be our best year yet.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
And it's pleasant surprise to see you here.
Well, yes. Yeah, you know, usually my boss and I will be doing this. But,
Yes.
you know, every now and then, you know, I'll chuck in
Introduce
you,
you.
as you say it. I'll chuck in you.
Well, it's a year of changes.
It is a year of changes. So let's get right into it. Why is it important, first of all, to build personal resilience? And what does that mean? And then secondly, what does it mean to have mental toughness?
Well, Muhammad Ali said something years ago. He said that inside of the ring or outside of it, a man is not disgraced when he gets knocked down, but he gets disgraced when he stays down. So that's why it's so important that we need to equip ourselves with the skill of mental resilience and toughness to be able to prepare us for the year.
So basically, whether you win or what is supposed to look like winning, whether you attain that or not,
Good.
the important thing is that you keep going.
You keep going. Resilience is your ability to bounce back after challenges, after setbacks, after problems. We all know. 31st night, we all went to church, wore our white, and we made some declarations and a lot of aspirations and goals and dreams. But we all know that once the year starts, it doesn't go as we've planned it. A lot of things happen, both at the macro level and at the micro level. The year does not always go according to plan. Now, even when you are driving, there are detours, there are stops, there are potholes, there are boulders, there are rocks that, so the road, the journey of 2024 is not going to be a smooth one. It's not going to go as we have planned it by the book. Now, things will happen. Now, when they happen, how do we bounce back? How do we stay on course so that we shall achieve that dream, that aspiration, that declaration that we all made on 31st night?
Right.
That's why this topic is so important.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
What does it mean when we talk about personal resilience?
All right. Now, let me illustrate that with the story of the teacup.
Okay.
There's a cup here. Now, we've all seen this. This is made of ceramic.
Yes.
It's a ceramic teacup. We all use it every morning, whether for tea, chocolate, or coffee.
Cocoa.
Or cocoa. No, this is not the cocoa one.
The cocoa one is bigger.
It has to be bunswa. This one is for the Pechefe people. But we all know this teacup. Now, this teacup doesn't start life as a teacup. It starts life as a clay. And it goes through four processes before we see it as beautiful as this. Now, when it is clay, you won't respect it. And it will not come anywhere near your table because it's dirty, it's from the earth, and it's unsightly. But then, the sculptor will take a piece of this clay and beat it so hard that it's now a smooth texture that he can work with. So that's the first thing. It is beaten. It is beaten. But it does not stay in that state. Even in the beatings, this teacup knows that there's a higher life and a higher purpose for it. And so it endures stage 1. Stage 2 is molding. Now, if you know how this teacup is made, you would know that the sculptor will put it on a wheel and spin it. And as the wheel is spinning, he's using
molding.
his craft master hand to mold this teacup into the shape that we see it. So that's stage 2, mold. And then it moves to baking. After it's been molded, you will think this teacup hasn't gone through enough trouble already, but it doesn't stay there. So from the time when it was beaten to the time when it was molded into this shape, as if the troubles have not ended, it is now put into a furnace.
Extreme
hot furnace. And it's not oven, it's a furnace. And so it's heated temperature to the highest possible degree. And this teacup will now stay there. That is what allows it to go through the storms of life. That is what allows it to be resilient. Now, if it does not get baked, guess what will happen to it? At the least at the least trouble, it will crack. But it is the hot furnace that prepares it for its life, the life ahead of it. Children will use it, they will drop it. Maid servants will use it and drop it. Cousins will come and visit and drop it. But this teacup is resilient and withstands the troubles of time. Why? Because it had gone through a process of toughen. And then after it is baked, once again, the trouble has not ended. It moves to the final stage, which is painting. Now, whatever color the sculptor wants, it will now look for that paint. And this teacup will feel nauseous. It will feel like, what kind of paint is this? But that painting is what prepares it to be now served on the plates, on the tables of presidents, kings, and ministers. Now, if it says that, no, you know what, I don't like it, it is early morning, I don't want to be nauseous, so don't come my way with this paint. Guess what? It will be used to serve beggars or some other place. But it is the painting that now makes it so beautiful that it can be put on the table of presidents. So that's what mental toughness is about. The fact that we all go through a series of processes of self-discovery, of challenges. But those challenges are preparing us for the next phases of our lives. So if you don't go through the process of beating, of molding, of baking and of painting, you will not be useful. And a lot of lives are trapped at one of the phases. So there's a difference between the clay and the teacup. A lot of us, because we don't want trouble, we are trapped at clay stage of our lives.
The clay,
Sometimes for 18 years. Because in your work, you don't want to move to the next level. Anytime they give you a higher assignment, you refuse. They want to move you to head the district office, but because it is a village, you don't want to go. So you are trapped at clay stage. And some people are trapped there for 18 years of their life, for 20 years of their life, for 15 years of their lives, because they don't want to go through the trouble of moving to the next phase. You cannot become a teacup without going through the processes of the preparation of a teacup.
Wonderful. It's a brilliant analogy, and thank you for sharing it. So let's go through the steps again. There's the first process, beating. You will be beaten.
You will be beaten.
You must be beaten.
Well, let's not say must, but you will be beaten.
Not in. I mean, the context of the teacup.
That's right. Yeah.
Right, of the clay and the teacup.
Then you must be beaten.
Then you must be beaten.
That's right.
Then we move on to molding.
Molding. You must be molded.
Which is also difficult because you stand there and you have to subject yourself to the hands, the mastery of someone who knows
who prepares you for
the
the shape that you must be in. So during that process, if you refuse to be molded, you have a problem. And indeed, in my line of work going around training, I see that a lot of people don't want to be molded. They start work 6 months, oh, my boss is somewhere, and then they move. So Ghana is trapped at potential stage because a lot of young people don't want to be molded. They want to be left alone to live their lives. But remember, without the molding, you will not be in that fine shape that we are seeing this teacup. So the question for you to ponder on this year is, who is molding you?
Who is molding
In
you?
whose hands are you?
Who is molding you?
Good.
In whose hands are you? Who is your sculptor?
Exactly.
Who is your sculptor?
Exactly. Are your sculptors your colleague mates who don't know any better than you?
The blind leading the blind.
The blind leading the blind. You are a newly married couple. Who is molding you so that you can withstand the challenges of time? Because if you keep listening to the same conversations, the outcome of your life will be the same. So who is molding you? Who is turning you to become that fine artist, that fine cameraman, that fine newscaster, that fine entrepreneur, that fine fashion designer? Who is molding you?
Who is molding you?
Yeah.
And after you've been molded,
yeah,
now you need to be put into the furnace.
Yes.
You need to bake.
You need to bake. That's what makes you resilient. Because then you are toughened. You know, that is, if you pay attention, those who grow up in lower middle class suburbs are more resilient than those who grew up in the upper middle class suburbs.
Very true.
Because they have gone through baking.
Very true.
I mean, when you grow up without knowing where your next meal is going to come from, it teaches you a thing or two about life.
That's true. And
because of the circumstances, because of the things that you've gone to do to survive, when new challenges come, you see it as cocoa. You see it as easy. But when you have not gone through challenges, will your anchor hold in the storms of life when the strifes unfold? You see, so when you have not gone through baking, when you have not gone through any challenge in life, the moment one comes, you are shaking.
Because you don't even have an anchor.
God.
Let alone for it to hold.
You don't have experience of withstanding the storm. So in life, if you want to be resilient, you need to go through that fire. You must go through that process, that tough things that then prepares you for what is coming. That is what makes you resilient.
Okay, let's move on to the other part of this topic. Mental toughness.
Good.
Building mental toughness.
Good.
What does it mean to be mentally tough? Because somebody will say, my mind is my mind. If you're born hard, you're born hard, you know. But what does it mean to have mental toughness, and how do you build it?
Good. You see, this question has long engaged psychologists. What is mental toughness, like you are asking? What separates winners from losers? What separates successful people from failures? And in 1869, a gentleman named Francis Galton studied this phenomenon in 1869. Now, Francis was the cousin of Darwin. Now, Charles Darwin, good.
Evolutionist.
Good. That was his cousin. And after studying people from all over the world, in all disciplines, he distilled his results into just 3. That the outliers, those who succeeded, and it didn't matter what field they were in, artists, bankers, business people, politicians, sportsmen, he distilled it into 3. He said what he found that was the common denominator in these guys were: 1, they demonstrated unusual ability. So ability here is talent. 2, they had exceptional zeal. 3, they had capacity for hard labor. They subjected themselves to discipline required to excel in their field.
Right.
Now, later on, other psychology built upon it and said this exceptional zeal, what we call grit, what I call in my book hard-boiled determination.
Hard-boiled determination.
The never say die can do spirit. That is zeal. That is mental toughness. So this year, I'm encouraging everyone watching us, listening to us, to be a House of Folk supporter.
Thank you very much. Or a Man United supporter.
No. Let's not go there.
It teaches you mental toughness. I tell you. No, but right.
So never say die.
Never say die.
Until the bones are what? Rotten. That is mental toughness. Now, you know, it's very funny that, no, it's not funny, it's interesting that Kotoko has, when you look at their motto, it's virtually saying the same thing. Because Kotoko also says, Ukuma Pima Apimbeba, meaning you can never defeat us. If you kill 1,000, 1,000 will rise up. So both of them are saying, we will never die, we will never say that, we will never give up, we will continue to fight. All right, so now how do you develop that?
Right.
I'm going to give just 2 keys. Number 1, to develop mental toughness, always ask yourself, how do I interpret the events, the things that happen to me? How do you interpret it? That's the key to mental toughness. You see, the problem is not the problem. The problem is our interpretation of the problem. And that is what Captain Jack Sparrow said in in that movie. You know, he said the problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude. Pirates of the Caribbean. Thank you. He said the problem is your attitude towards the problem. And so this year, 2024, if you want to build mental strength, mental resilience, ask yourself, how do I interpret the things that happen to me?
So let's say loss comes your way, and it could be any kind of loss. You lose a loved one, you lose money, you lose your job, and straight away you go to the universe hates me, God doesn't love me, for me every time bad things are happening to me. Why me? Playing the victim.
That's right.
And feeling sorry for yourself.
That's right.
As opposed to, why did this happen? Did I have anything to do with this? If not, what can I do the next time that would not land me in a situation? Or how can I rise above the situation and continue? That kind of thing.
That is it. That is it. You've explained it very beautifully. Because you see, let's take, for instance, the loss of a loved one. It's very painful. It's heart-wrenching. But there's a loss. What can you do? You can only cry so much. So how do you then interpret that? You can interpret it and say, it was my fault. It is this. I'm part of it. I shouldn't have done this. And you can go on for 4 years, but it's not going to bring the loved one back. But somebody else will interpret and say, okay, it's happened. I didn't have any role or part to play in this. Now I'm going to pick up the pieces and live my life to honor the memory of the one that is gone. So you see 2 different interpretations of the same issue. For some people, a loss happens and it shatters them for 7 years. For some people, a loss happens and they bounce back after 1 year and are able to even build upon it. Out of the ashes, we rise.
So those are the people who you see and say, but as for this man, how is he able to move on so quickly? But this woman, isn't she supposed to be mourning? She hasn't even removed the black yet. Those are the people you see.
So they are interpreting it differently. It is not the loss, the death, the bereavement, but the interpretation. So this year, you've got to change the way you interpret the things that happen to you. Let's assume that your office has asked you to go and head a new branch in Sunyani.
Yeah.
Some people interpret it as, they want to trap me. These people, I said it, they don't like me. Look at the way, new branch, there's nothing, there's no customer base, there's no deposit, and they want me to go there. Where will even my children attend school in Sunyani? This one is a deaf sender. No, I have to leave, I have to leave. Somebody to take it as, wow, this is my first opportunity on the managerial ranks. I'm going to take it. This is virgin field for me. I'm going to take it and show this company that I can do something. Interpretation. So it is not what happens to you that's a problem. It is how you interpret it. Now, okay, let me give you 2 keys to interpret it. So number 1 is check your attitudes and beliefs concerning the things that happen to you this year.
Your attitudes and
your
beliefs.
Your attitude and your belief. You see, let's assume that you are a new staff of CTFM and you come here and as a new staff, everybody, hey, buy this for me, oh, do this, and say, this people, they don't respect me because I'm a new graduate. They are using me like some boy. Everybody just sends me, go and buy Wache, go and buy Gobe, go and do this. Another person to say, oh, they like me. Oh. Look at the way all the bosses just ask me to buy food for them. This is very good. I'm going to work hard. Next time, it will not be food. They will ask me to go and cover a story. Yeah. Your attitude and your belief. And so check these things if you want to build upon it and have a different outcome in 2024. Now, to do that, you see, your attitude and your belief does 3 things. They either help you, harm you, or hinder you.
3 H's.
Help, harm, or hinder. Your whole life is a summation of this. So wherever you find yourself this year, whatever it is that you are doing, your attitude and your belief towards the events, the circumstances, and the things that are happening to you are helping you to achieve that aspiration and declaration you made on 31st night. It is either harming you or it is hindering, it is stopping you from making progress. So do a review of the way you come across and say, the way I have projected myself, has it helped me? Has it hindered me? Or has it harmed me?
Okay, Mike, let me ask this question. There are some people who believe that people are born tough. And so it's just like how people believe, oh, they were born with a gift, or they were born with a talent, or they were born as a leader. As for us, we are followers. As for us, we are soft, you know. And some people's parents in raising them believe that. Some people encounter people who should have great influence on their life, who could mold them. And the molders, the sculptors believe that. How do you come out of that?
First of all, it's a fallacy that some people are born tough and others are born soft. It's a fallacy. You see, when we are born, up until 18 months, we don't have will, meaning we don't know good from bad.
Right.
We are just there because we are infants. But after 18 months, we develop will. From then on, we are responsible for everything that happens to us. So nobody is born tougher than anybody. It is the molding and the deliberateness with which we do this that tends to make somebody give up, not stretch themselves, or another person become tough. So nobody is born. I know people you will call dadaba who have gone through things that you never ever, who had to work to even earn the right to drive the car in the house.
Same here.
And who had to buy, so it's the molding. It is the circumstances and the environment that we deliberately put people in that either makes them soft or resilient and hard.
Absolutely.
So it's not true that some people are born alive. Now, okay, so if you have gone through issues and you seem to see only the ashes and can't seem to go beyond that, what or how do you start? All right, let me just give 5 keys and we are done. But 2 questions, first of all, to help you to change the way you are seeing things. So number 1 is, what is this teaching me? Anything you go through in 2024,
what is this teaching me?
What is this teaching me? Because that already begins to put you in a certain mental state. So whatever you go through, no matter the problems and challenges that come your way,
it's a teachable moment.
God, the first thing is, what is this teaching me? Then the second question is, what does this make possible? These 2 questions will change every situation that you are going to encounter this year.
So first, what is this teaching me?
Good.
And then, what does this make possible?
Because what is this teaching me is already opening up your mind to receive. Because the universe is always teaching us, whether we are aware of it or not, and whether we accept it or not. It is always teaching us. Now we say that it is a mistake to repeat a mistake. Because when the universe teaches you twice, it punishes you the second time. And so for everything that happens to you, what is it teaching me? I read years ago, he said, when you fail, don't lose the lesson. So in any situation, it could be a loss, it could be a loss of money, loss of capital, loss of a job, loss of a loved one. It could be a setback. Maybe some friends have betrayed you so bad and you are want to give up on the human spirit and say, hey, nipa nyo, nipa be a cobra. You know, so what is this teaching me? Your friends have betrayed you, they've hurt you so bad, but what is it teaching you? Because when you pick up, it makes you a better person. That is how I define maturity. When you can learn from the things that happen to you so you become a better version of yourself, then you are maturing. And then second one, what does this make possible? You've just been fired. 300 people have been fired from your insurance company, microfinance, bank, or this. Instead of going to sit down and doing abobo and ababa, ask, what does this make possible? And I know people who are now richer than when they were in formal employment because they found an answer to the second question. That in any situation, what does it make possible? And once you do that, it already opens your spirit and your mind to now begin to look at possibilities. So these are the two questions that will change everything as far as becoming mentally resilient is concerned. Now, the thing about resilience is that it's a muscle. So the more you use it, the harder and the stronger it becomes.
So the more you use the muscle of resilience, the more resilient
you become.
The muscle becomes.
That's right. So you face a little challenge, you are able to surmount it. Then the next time it's a slightly bigger one, you're able to. So the more you do it, now anything that life throws at you, you are like, oh, I've got this. I've got this. All right. So what can you do? Let's give a short one. Now, I have an acronym called ADAPT. So number one is attitude to the situation. First A, adapt. Attitude to the situation. And we've already said it, Captain Jack Sparrow said, the problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude towards the problem. So what is your attitude? How are you going into 2024? You need to define that for yourself. And then D is define the problem and set realistic goals. So wherever you find yourself, whatever it is that life has thrown at you this year, just define it and ask yourself, what is realistically possible for me under the circumstances? I was laid off, I've been given 100,000 cedis. What does it make possible? What can I do with it realistically? Set your goal so you can be able to achieve it. Then the next A is generate alternative solutions. I have 100,000 in severance award. What can I do with 100,000? I can start Uber business, I can start catfish business, I can start a fashion business, I can start a farm, so just generate your list of possible alternatives and then you choose the best one out of it. And then you come to the P, predict the likely consequences and develop a solution plan. All right, so if you were to take option C, what would be the consequences of that particular option? And then you come out with an action plan for it. And then the last T is try out the solution and see if it works. Test it. You know, when you are going into a pool for the first time, what do? You use your feet, exactly. Test the water, test the water, and see what, you know, how deep, how shallow, how fast the waves are, and then you'll be able to know how to swim.
All right, we've been speaking to Mr. Michael Iniefa. He's a co-founder of Lead Africa International. He's also an international development consultant. He's no stranger here at City FM, City TV. And we've been speaking about how to build personal resilience and mental toughness for 2024 and indeed beyond this year. My name is Apioko. This is the Effective Living series. Catch us tomorrow again, 9:15 a.m. here on City FM and 9:30 a.m. right here on City TV. We'll see you.